A rare piece of Star Wars history is hitting the auction block, with Luke Skywalker's Medal of Yavin expected to sell for up to $600,000. The iconic prop worn by Mark Hamill in A New Hope in 1977 was awarded to Luke by Princess Leia after his triumphant destruction of the Death Star. Prop Store, Nick, you're very familiar with them, a leading film memorabilia auctioneer based in Cheney's near Rickmansworth, is selling the medal, which it claims to be the first and only one to ever be offered for public sale. The auction house traced its origins to the collection of Gerard Bourque, a props master on the original trilogy. It's also believed that Harrison Ford, who played Han Solo, wore the medal during rehearsals. Another legendary Star Wars item is also up for auction, and it is Chewbacca's Bowcaster, the powerful laser weapon wielded by the beloved Wookiee in the original trilogy. Built from a modified Horton crossbow, the Bowcaster was designed to have a futuristic yet battle-worn aesthetic. Prop Store describes it as one of the rarest Star Wars hero props in existence, with an estimated value of $250,000 to $500,000. Brandon Allinger, Prop Store's chief operating officer, called these items incredible Star Wars props that hold a special place in cinematic history. The auction will take place in LA, right down the road from you, John, from March 26th to 28th. Yeah, offering collectors the chance to own a tangible piece of the galaxy far, far away. Guys, that means we only have a couple weeks to win the Powerball lottery, so that we can pull these things in. The question I want to ask you guys, and I'll just throw it out there because I don't have an answer off the top of my head either, but if you could own any prop from Star Wars, if you could go into the Lucas archives and own anything from any Star Wars movie or any Star Wars anything, screen used, what would you choose?
I know. I'll go first. I'll jump in there. And I've got one over my right shoulder, but it's from Black Series and the wonderful folks who do Black Series. I want a screen used Stormtrooper helmet or a Stormtrooper uniform, like full armor, screen used. Like it's one of those classic, dial it back to the OG, the original. It just, lightsabers are cool. Han's blaster would probably be a really close second, but if we're talking screen used, a full set of, screen used Stormtrooper armor. Maybe I'll even go, reach, and I want the helmet from the guy that hit his head on the door as he went through.
And the amazing thing is it would look so much worse than the Black Series one you have behind you. It would just
exactly.
Probably
exactly
so beat up and horrible. What about you, John? Anything in mind that you would want?
Maybe the chessboard.
Oh,
nice.
Yeah. There you go. That's cool, because you could also put your drink on it. You could,
right?
Yeah, for sure.
I think for me, I would probably want one of the original X-wing models, like just one of the screen used X-wing models, just because the X, like as a kid, that was always my when you're a kid, you draw the stuff and you sketch that. Like that was, I always tried to get like the little details on the X-wing. So to have one of those, I think would be pretty darn cool. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, and I'll just say this about Prop Store, and Pete, you kind of alluded to it a little bit, the little bit of connection. I've been to 2 celebrations. I went to Orlando in 2017. I went to Anaheim. They always have booths set up. They always have displays. Like when I was in Anaheim, in Orlando, they had the models of the bottom side of Bespin in Empire when Luke's hanging on the weather vane or whatever it is. And it's literally like, it's all the things you see. Like we talk about Phantom Menace and the pod race scene, and it's all like Q-tips in the background.
Right.
Like you see it up close and it's nothing, but it's on camera. It's everything. You hear about this with like the idol from Raiders. It's just
that's
wood, spray painted gold.
Yeah. When I went to Skywalker Ranch, there was the whole case. There was a case of different movie props, and the idol was one of them. And I remember it because it looked awful. It was
it's just a beat up chunk of wood, but on screen, spray painted gold. It's exactly what you want it to be. Prop Store has such a great history of tracking these things, getting the stuff that's certified and whatever. They did a giveaway years ago. I actually won it on Instagram. I won a Chewbacca hair that was framed from one of the first original, Chewbacca suits. And just, it was this great, crazy thing, but they have such a great history of it. And so to see these things, when we were in Anaheim at Celebration, they had some of the stuff in their display booth. And one of them was the sign that was Blue Harvest.
Oh, right.
For
yeah, that would be cool.
yeah, it was like the Blue Harvest like costuming or whatever it was, and it's just like that's the kind of stuff that just rings my bell and is like old school, vintage, but also like has that little nod to like we know what it is, but we don't know. They just do great work, so I'm excited to see how this goes. And I wonder about that metal. When I read this story, I thought it's just a chunk of wood that
probably
hung around his neck. Like it's not that great.
Yep. But it's just the fact that it was there. It was on screen. It was part of the whole thing.
And that's what makes the magic.
I'm going to bring in Chris real quick just to see which one he would want. Which, Chris, you could get anything, any prop from a film. Which one would you want?
Land speeder. Luke's land speeder.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's
with the mirrors on the bottom so it looked like it was floating.
Yeah. I just have like, just what is it? Some Vaseline over everything just to make sure it looks like it's floating.
Vaseline on the lens.
Yeah, it's my favorite vehicle. I would love the land speeder.